Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. This is Hurmat and this is Uruj. We are in Lahore, at the National History Museum, and we are really excited to be connected with you to discuss the bookseller of Kabul. Shall we begin with our friends in Afghanistan? If you guys could tell us what you thought about the book, start the conversation. We'll take it from there. Thank you. Maybe if anyone of you wants to come forward and give a little summary of the book. Panjsher, can you guys hear us? I think the video is stuck. Yeah. No. Okay.
Hello. Good morning,
or maybe
everyone.
We can start the conversation.
I'm very sorry for being late.
Oh no. Okay. Hello, sorry, we couldn't hear you before. Could you please just repeat what you were saying?
Sorry for being late because. Sorry.
Please continue.
I think we have a bad connection. I don't know. Okay. Hello. Good morning, everyone. So we are very sorry for being late because here we had some problem. For that reason, we came late, and now we are really here to start our next session. So I am, you know me, and once again I wanna introduce myself. My name is Hafez. I am the Panjsher's coordinator here, and now we are ready. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Hafiz, would anybody from Panjsher like to start the conversation with giving us a summary of the book, perhaps, or their thoughts on it?
Yes, okay. Okay, let me ask one of my first questions to start. Okay.
For information of all the viewers, Chief Coordinator of Panjsher Lincoln Center, Karam Saib, and our program coordinator, Teacher Office, and all of yours. My name is Hamid Jali, one of the participants in this program, and today we're going to talk about a book, The Bookseller of Kabul, and our issue that I'm going to talk shortly about it. About the no admission to heaven. When the Taliban ruled in Afghanistan, in September 1996, they decreased 16. They were decreased 16 rule that through the Sharia legislation of Afghanistan, that I'm going to talk about it, about some of them. And the first one is prohibition about against female exposure, that when a female, it was not allowed for them to go outside. One single woman is not allowed to go for their necessary, something they had to go outside. They have a close relative male with him, because it was not allowed.
I think we've lost the audio.
Women were deprived of their rights, and the only thing they can do is staying home and keeping the babies, and they have the role in the community in the region of Taliban. And also they have many prohibition about different things, about music, about the reading of people that they celebrate their weddings and parties. That I'm going to talk about it as something prohibition against music. Music means cassettes or DVDs that when a witches playing cassette at their cars, if the Taliban know and they recognize him and identify him, that why you do this role, because it's not allowed at the region of Taliban to for hearing or for playing the music cassettes, and it was very difficult for all of the people in Afghanistan, and especially when they see the cassettes in the hotels or when they see in rickshaws that they are playing music, they extremely punished him and imprisoned. And it was very, as I said before, it was a very conservative government, conservative regime on the term of Taliban. And the other one is prohibition about the prayer. It was a mandatory prayer. Prayer will be observed at the fixed time in all the district, and it was obligatory to go to mosque during the regime of Taliban. And when a young man seen in the shops that they are not attend to the mosque or they are not going to do a prayer, it was very difficult. It was very hard on that young man. They will imprison and they will punish him. Why you're not attendance? Why you're not do the prayer at the mosque during the time of the prayer? It was a conservative regime. It was a dark regime that we are all witness, especially in Afghanistan, that they do during their duties, during their governments. And the other prohibition is that it was very strange and very exciting for me, the gambler. About the gamble will be flashed out from the centers, or when they see someone that they are gambling, they will recognize him and they will identify him, and they will imprison and they banish him, because it was not allowed during the regime of Taliban, during their trips, during their the governments, and it was very hard for all of the people, not especially for gamblers or others. As I said before, for the women, they were deprived of their rights, as you maybe know better than us. And it was very a dark, they have a dark government, they have a dark regime, especially for women, for young students, especially females. They were deprived of education. They have no rights. Another thing is about the prohibition about against reading and dancing when we celebrate. We have a culture that when we celebrate or when we launch our parties, that some of our relatives, they are dancing at wedding and they're enjoying, and it was not allowed during the regime of Taliban, during the government. It was not allowed. When someone don't observe this prohibition or broken this prohibition, they will be identified and their husband will be punished and imprisoned. The thing is about the prohibition about the witchcraft. Witchcraft, they about magicians. All books dealing with the magicians were burnt, and it was magic during the regime of Taliban. And if they saw him, they will identify him and visit their house, and they will imprison and punish him. And other thing is, if a female woman go outside or when he is wearing, inciting an attractive clothes, they will be identify their house, and their husband will punished and imprisoned. Why she wearing attractive or inciting clothes in a very conservative government, in a conservative place during their regimes. And there are also many prohibition, as you better know about the tailors, while sewing attractive clothes. They will be recognizing and closed their tailor shops, or it was at all. If we see the regime of Taliban, they have a conservative and they have a dull regime that all of the Afghan people are witnessing, and but what there was not, they wasn't satisfied of their they wasn't satisfied of their duties, of their works during the regime of Taliban and during their government, and all of the people are hate him because they do a lot of bad things during their terms, during their regimes. When they are early enter Afghanistan, they do a lot of bad things for Afghan pupils. The women, especially the education sector, was the brave, especially the females, girls are not allowed to go outside for education. And also it was something that was very strange and exciting for me, that I'm going to talk and share my experience and my something that I get it from this book, uh, share with you. Thank you from all of you. I hope it wasn't boring for yours.
No, it wasn't really. Thank you so much for your thoughts
Thank you.
and your in-depth insights about this book. So, like as our friend in Panjsher told us that this book actually represents a very dark time period that was in Afghanistan during the Taliban government. So, I would like to come to our students in Lahore. So someone from Lahore, would they like to talk about what they thought about the book?
Hello, my name is Rashu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I remember about the book that it is all about Afghan and its all culture. Uh, the journalist of Norway came to Afghanistan, and he wanted to study about the Afghan after 9/11 attack, and it was very daring for her and very difficult for her to come and live in this type of area where the terrorists have been doing their work and they're spreading terrorism. So uh, he spent a very hard time. He wrote about the family he was living in that was a bookseller. The real name was Muhammad Rais, and uh, she she faced a very hard time when the Muhammad Rais took a charge against her that she is using her personal information in this writing in this book, and that's very dangerous for him, and it can be daring and harmful for his and his family and all that stuff. The very uh, difficult time of that she spent there, and finally the Norwegian embassies and courts took her charge and uh, take her away from the uh, uh, charges, and that's the about, and she explained about the culture of the area of Afghanistan, that they're having a very close, very packed type of culture where women are trodden and they are not given all their rights each family is just held by the man of the family, and there is no rights for humans. But now it is all good, and they have evolved, and things are fine now. That's the very basic idea from the book we get. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roshu. Anyone else from Lahore would they like to talk about their thoughts of the book? What they thought about the book? And if you guys have any questions from our friends in Afghanistan regarding the book, because the book obviously it shows a very dark and harsh reality of Afghanistan. So do you guys have any questions about it?
Afghanistan is just reconnecting. They're just having some technical issues at their end, so they unfortunately disconnected because of a technical glitch. So let's keep the conversation within our students in Lahore. And if you guys would like to give some insight into the book and what you thought and what you think are the lessons that we must take back, so I think that would be a great way to move forward.
Great, Alia. Thank you. So let's just have a few more perspectives from the students in Lahore. Would anyone else like to talk about what they liked about the book, or maybe something that they didn't like about the book while they were reading it? And also, if you guys found any similarities between Afghanistan and Pakistan while reading the book.
The part that it is about the women's rights here in Pakistan, in some areas that is still existing. Women are not given proper rights, and the whole family household is in just hand of a man of the house. Yeah, I think that's the similarity between Afghan culture and Pakistani culture. It is getting better, but it would take I think a lot of time for getting better.
Yeah, you are right. You are very right. Anyone else? I can see Alicia, Kinza. I'm sorry. Junaid wants to speak. Oh yeah.
Yes, students, you answer now. You can describe something that you have read in your book. Alicia, Kinza, you are also here.
It was a really interesting book. The writer lives with the Afghan family for like 4 months and experienced their lifestyle. The time period in which she was living with them was really dark and hard time. The women were not really given their rights, but this whole story revolves around a bookseller called Sultan. Um, he was a little progressive man, but he really loves his country's history and wanted to protect it. Everything, everything comes second to it, its passion. I really liked the book. It was really informative. I really enjoyed it reading. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think हम बड़े आराम से उर्दू में भी conversation कर सकते हैं if anyone feels comfortable with that. We can go bilingual very easily since Afghanistan is not connected yet. Then we'll have to switch to English.
Hello.
Hi, Alicia. Please go ahead.
When I read about the chapter third grade, I like this chapter because of there is a lot of similarities between Pakistan and India in wedding, because they put henna in their hands, and this is also happen in Pakistan. And they have same culture, and the drums about they celebrate this type of, and the girls sang songs, a lot of things, and they go to salons and they get salons, and a lot of food like mutton, rice they cooked, and it is also cooked in Pakistan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Great observation. Thank you, Alicia.
Welcome.
I think our friends in Panjsher are back again. Can you guys hear us? Afghanistan?
They'll join in. They're trying to get their audio and video going.
Okay.
Keep
So
the
we should just
conversation going while they.
all right. All right, okay, we'll do that. So, so Alicia just mentioned that there were a lot of cultural similarities that she found in the book. For example, putting on henna and singing songs to enjoy festivals or weddings or just being with the family. So, what I want to know is, does that sort of cultural, similarities, do they make the harsher parts of the book more relatable for you? Or do you still think that there are issues in the book that are not something that you see in Pakistan? What would you say?
Uh, that about the green dresses. About in this book they talk about the dress must be green.
Mm-hmm.
They said that the green color is the color of happiness and they represent flag and Islam.
Mm-hmm. So that you felt was different to the way we celebrate in Pakistan, or the same?
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to know, you thought that was different?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right. I think one of you guys mentioned that Sultan was a very progressive man and he loved his country and he wanted to protect the history of his country. But what I found very interesting was that he was very different when it came to his household. That he was very, controlling and he wasn't letting the women of his house go out and work and study. What did you guys think about that? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that it was not the cause that he was a harsh man, because it was living in kind of area where all these things happen and he has grown up there. That's the impact of his society and his area, I think. And personally he was a nice person and he was doing good job for making his culture safe while selling books and just for protecting his culture. But the very his bad side was just because of his society and his area where he was living. That was I think that was not his cause. It was just an impact of his society.
Okay, yeah, that's very well put. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else would like to, does anyone else have any thoughts on this? How Sultan was outside his house and how he was with his family. What do you guys think about that?
Panjsher, would somebody from your side come and like to tell us about the character of Sultan, because he is an Afghan man, and I'm sure there are many characters around you who would remind you of Sultan. So if you could come and tell our Pakistani audience what you as an Afghan understood from the description and depiction of Sultan, and how true to actual Afghan men that depiction actually is.
Okay, let's ask one of the participants to come here and talk about Sultan.
کدام سلطان؟
سلطان که شخص جميل کتاب فروش هم سلطان.
سعی نکردید.
سعی نکردید.
چیزی.
خب در مورد خود شخصیت کی صحبت میکنه؟ بفرمایید. خودمون صحبت بکنیم.
سلطان کی کدام کی رو به معرفی کردن؟
Okay. The bookseller or the character of who as an Afghan man, the bookseller, which this book is about that man. As an Afghan man, he was very patriot. He loved to protect Afghan history and Afghan something which was very important for Afghans to protect them. And also he was a very good man against he was very responsible against his family, and he brought his children very well, and he led his children to go to school and learn fundamental things, and also to learn very new things and modern things, and also some to learn foreign countries' language. Other Afghan men on that time didn't let their children to go to school and to learn modern sciences and also some new languages, new foreign languages. So Sultan, the bookseller of Kabul, he led his children to go to school and to achieve some new things. And also, he was very responsible against his society. On that time, Afghanistan was in very ethnicities conflicts. So every warlord tried to achieve to get the power of the country, and also on that time he tried and he worked hard, and he worked hard to solve the books for people to get aware of everything about Afghan societies and many more things on that time. So it was very hard for him to work in Kabul in such a society. On that time was amongst all other conflicts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, and thank you so much for that. That gives us a
Okay.
So I have another question for both our participants in Afghanistan and Pakistan. There was a part in the book where there was this carpenter who steals some postcards from Sultan. And Sultan, he reacts very harshly to this whole situation. So I would like to know what you guys think about that. Was Sultan reacting properly, or was his reaction appropriate? What do you guys think about that? We can start from Panjsher. Yeah.
قسمتش انه باشه انه پوسترها چطور که طالبان من قرار میاد که پوسترها را چه عکس میود میساختن داشت تمام چیز
Okay, let me ask one of participants to get ready, and now you should have this question from. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We'll just go over to Lahore then.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
If anyone in Lahore would like to talk about this, I can give a quick reminder or summary of that. So basically, Sultan, this carpenter who was working in Sultan's bookshop, he steals some postcards from him, and Sultan, he reacts very angrily towards him, and he basically makes him end up in jail. So I want to know your thoughts on this.
Students, give your answer, beta. Give your thoughts about it.
First of all, sorry for the voice coming behind me. It's a shop outside now. His welder, he's doing this one. So I think he did right for a very little part. The who steal the postcard should be punished, but he took him to this jail. That was a very kind of harsh feelings in his heart for him. But punishment is fine for just making someone learn from his mistake. But it was a very hard. It will be fine if we punish him for taking the money of the postcard, or just making him out of his shop, or kind of that thing. But he took him to jail, and that was a hard and very heartbreaking thing.
Yeah, exactly. I felt the same. I was like, okay, this is getting too much. he should he should let him go, because he was also coming from a very difficult situation, and that's why he ended up doing that. But yeah, that's what.
It's interesting, right? Because according to the law, he did nothing. I mean, there was,
Stealing involved, yeah.
There was stealing, but then when you think about justice, it's interesting how sometimes what is in the law and what is just doesn't always merge, And I think that was how it was being expressed in the book as well, that there's this person, the bookseller himself, who is going against the grain, who is being radical, right? And then when someone else is going against the grain because he is coming from an unequal world and trying to fight against it, then that person is being punished by, the same person. And it's interesting how to think about it.
It was a very, interesting power dynamic. That Sultan, even though he wants to change his country and he feels very strongly about it, but when something happened very close to him, he was like, no, I'm gonna put my foot down and not gonna let him go. So yeah. Anyone else from Lahore? Hello?
Okay, Panjsher, are you guys ready?
Yes, we are ready. Here we go.
Point one.
I'm just sorry, I show you the camera.
Laptop point.
Point one, yeah.
Hello and good afternoon. This is Abdul Qahar Wiqar. I'm from Afghanistan, from Panjsher province. Thank from LLC Center to connect us from both countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. And thanks from you that you join us. According to, and I'm sorry, this is my first time that I joined in this center and with your information. Exactly, I didn't know that what we are going to talk about. So thanks from Mr. Coordinator that he told me, 2 days before, and he gave me the book to be studied. And this is a thick book and I couldn't complete read it by myself. So just I want to give you some information about that. You have asked about the posters, about pictures, about magazine, newspapers, and books that exist before the Taliban's regime or before their times. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about this one. The big problem which this war existed in Afghanistan, and we had a very bad situation in Afghanistan, and the people were feeling so bad. So I can tell you about this, that when these people came to Afghanistan, so I don't want to tell you that correctly from which province, from which part of other countries they have been in Afghanistan, but they, before of 2000, they came to Afghanistan, and once when they came to Afghanistan, the situation of Afghanistan completely changed. And the people were feeling very fearful, and it was very frightful for all the people who were existing in Afghanistan. And they once, like, I can give you a big example, like a coronavirus, which once it started in China, but immediately in the last time it is separated all over the world. That nowadays we can see there is no country that is without coronavirus which exists, and now we can see the situation is very bad. So these people also came to Afghanistan like this kind of a big virus to Afghanistan. So when they come to Afghanistan, the people were thinking about that. Who are they? They were looking very dangerous. They were very fearful for the people of Afghanistan. And in a short time, in a last time, they separated all Afghanistan. They went to each province of Afghanistan. as they came to Afghanistan by name of, we bring the Islamic rules, Islamic situation, Islamic, we implement the Holy Quran, Hadith, and everything else in our country. But as well, Afghanistan is an Islamic country, and people are all Muslim, and they have belief in this kind of situation. They weren't a belief to other religions. So, by their ideas, they thought that Afghanistan exists with the Russia situation, and they lost their deen, their mazhab, their religions, Islam. So their thing was such a this that they came to Afghanistan and they implement. As one of our friend that before he mentioned all the rules that he mentioned about masjid, music, people, culture, business, relationship of that. He, talk about all of that. I don't want to get you more time about this issue, but as I can say, when these people came to for Afghanistan, as the world recognized them, and until now they are, and now the negotiation which exists between Afghanistan and these people, they are exist in a blacklist of Afghanistan. And these people are still believe on this, that we want to bring Islamic rule in Afghanistan. So as we are Muslim, people are Muslim, we have a Masjid, Quran, Hadith, all people are believe on them. So there is no necessity for this, that these people forcefully implement in Afghanistan. So your question was about this, that why these people burn all the pictures from books, magazine, newspaper, or whatever they have find, as well the CDs, movies, a drama, serial, whatever was exists before of this situation, why they did such this kind of an action. So the main was this, their mind was, full of darkness. These people were coming from a dark place. They believe on everything of dark. They didn't know exactly that how to believe Afghanistan, how to improve Afghanistan, how to behave in Afghanistan. Okay, you are Muslim, I am Muslim, all the Muslim countries believe on this, that Islam doesn't come as a forcefully for the people. So it is, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that with great honor, with a great respect, even as well it was infidel pagan people or paganism who exist. So with a great, honor and honorship, he bring that pagan people to Islam relations. So well, these people, they think about this, that when we burn the CDs, we remove the musics, remove that whatever as well, which is in 21st century, which exists, that all over the world, they are believing on it and they are doing that. These people start to burning everything. Okay, what will happen when you burn the book, when you burn the picture, when you don't allow the people to celebrate their own cultures. Well as I know, I have information in Pakistan, I have been 6 or 7 years, I was there. So I know about the culture of Pakistan, and as from 20 years as I am living in Afghanistan. So every country, every province, as well we can say small village, they have their own tradition and culture, and they have the right to have celebration about it. But unfortunately, there are lots of problems which exist in our country, and these people exactly when they come. When we think about these people that before of 2000 years they were in Afghanistan, so they bring only destroyings. They remove Afghanistan. They remove the fundamental of Afghanistan. They remove what was before which happened. They try to remove, even they destroy the historical places of Afghanistan. So is it means Islam? Does it mean relations? By this way you want to, achieve the heart of the peoples, male, females, small, big, even older or smaller? No, it isn't. So these causes became that the people find, but hate for this were in Afghanistan. They were in Afghanistan, some province of Afghanistan, some part of Afghanistan, but they couldn't achieve the heart of the people of Afghanistan. That was the biggest brightness of these people, that they lost Afghanistan, and America came to Afghanistan in the situation which is completely changed. Now, alhamdulillah, we are existing in a very good situation with good improvement as well. Our male, females, girls can go to school, and same like boys and others, they can participate in English centers, and in everything which nowadays we have in Afghanistan situation is alhamdulillah going very good. So that was a regime, that was a black regime, that was unacceptable, not only for Afghans, but I can say that for the world people, that was unacceptable and not acceptable, that these people must exist here. Okay, government is that government that they think about the nation, that they think about the people, that they think about the males, the females, and for every improvement, but unfortunately, these people, only the idea which they had, only that was destroying, and only implement Holy Quran and Hadith. So yes, we as a Muslim, we believe that these are the two fundamental of every Muslim, that they have to read, translate, and understandable for everyone. But when somebody, by forcefully, as before one of my brother and my friend said, that you have to pray 5 times, but they tell you 10 times, 7 times with ablution, without the ablution, that is a kind of, it is a kind of, I can say, headache it is. So when you are doing every work, you are as a Muslim, you accept and you read the Holy Quran and you translate that, you do, but it's necessary as a Muslim, you can accept all that by myself. But when somebody else tell you to do that, I think according to my it's completely, silly, stupid. It exists. So when we are happy from Allah that He bring a good situation to our country and those people out from Afghanistan. And nowadays as well, the war is existing 24 of Afghanistan. The situation is, and nowadays also we are feeling very bad. But we believe on this that Afghanistan is going to be improved and for development, and one day we hope, like other countries, this country will also improve, and we could also have a good situation and have a educated people, males, females, doctors, engineers, teachers, whatever what is necessary. The country needs for everything, for every kind of person, as well a person who is a mission. He is the necessity of the country. Whatever we don't have, so we have to bring from other countries. So that's why I can say that these people ideas only was darkness, nothing else. Doesn't have improvement, no ideology, no anything which is the benefit of the country and for the improvement of the country. These things wasn't in their program, in their ideology. Leader to tell them that one country need for all these things. I hope my speech didn't make you bored, and thanks from everyone.
Thank you so much for those words. Thank you very much. And I have to say that you just spoke about men and women of Afghanistan becoming doctors, engineers, whatever they want to be. And I can certainly see the potential. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Now our friends in Lahore, would you guys like to say anything? What our friend in Panjsher just told us? Do you guys have any questions for them? There's a lot to unpack there, so yeah, I'm sure that there must be a lot of curiosity. If anyone has a question, please go ahead. Okay. Also, we are running out of time. Would anyone like to give an ending note to this conversation? Anyone in Lahore?
Right. So until we're okay, no, we have someone who wants to speak. Go ahead.
Yeah. To summarize.
Yeah. Kinza, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Kinza, just please go ahead.
Yes, at the end, yes, I just want to say that the bookseller of Kabul is a fascinating reading. The author portrays the everyday lives, the people under the different kinds and repressive regimes. Basically, this was a story of the author. She represents very well that Sultan Khan is a bookseller. He receives a training as an engineer and gives up the career because of his interest in books. He loves books from the time he is a child. Eventually he goes to Tehran and Pakistan and buys many crates of books. And it is Sultan believes in making almost all the kinds of book available. He wants to protect the Afghan history, culture. Therefore, he does not adhere to the rules of the sovereigns or fundamentalists as what is forbidden. Sultan has history in Kabul. He considers himself to be a rich man. He is born to a poor family in a village outside of the Kabul and itself. He moves his time and he describes basically it's just a fascinating reading. I just love to read it and I just really enjoy the book. Yes, so it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kinza. And now, Rosha, you wanted to say something?
you was talking about summarizing the ending notes. So, well, I guess to summarize all this conversation and all the reading of book, it is just taking the world to a better peak and to make a world a better place of living and peace in the world. So, Pakistani people connecting to Afghani people and all engaging together is just making a good relation and having a better future for both of countries and having love for each other and no need to be cold-hearted for each other and taking the world to better kind of place where humans can study good and learn good and enjoy what they want to do.
Thank you so much. On just an ending note, I would just want to add that from this very rich conversation and from the book, what we understand is that whenever there is a force of oppression, the first thing it tries to take away are your words. We've seen it in Europe during the Second World War, and we saw that happening here as well in the setting of the bookseller of Kabul. And that only speaks to the fact how important our minds and the way we articulate our thoughts are to your own personal freedoms, to your own personal rights, and how impossible it is to take those away, even if they're taking your books away, burning them, blacking out your CD covers or posters or whatever. We will find a way every single time to find a way around it, because knowledge, information sharing, expression is so fundamentally important to all human beings that we will always find our way around such oppression. So yeah, on that note,
Also preserving all of this,
yes,
all of these books and all of this culture and history is also very important, not just for a single nation, but also for
humanity
yeah.
as a whole. So thank you so much for such a wonderful conversation, everyone. Thank you. Despite the internet connection issues, you guys were all amazing champs, and we're really excited to meet again next month.
Yeah.
Right. With that,
I
we bring
want
the
to say
session to a
something.
close. Yes,
I
Miss
want to
Sadaf.
say something that we also enjoy, but there is, I think, so some because closure of school or participants they are unable to join the meeting. But I want to summarize the book in only one sentence. So we can get the idea that what is the theme of that. The author is describing about the unhappiness in all the examples he have quoted and all the things he has described in the book. So I got that idea that the main theme of the book is that describing about the unhappiness in, I think he's describing all the fields and all the a lot of you can say of the society and everything. If it is about women, if it's about any, you want to get something, if it's the right of the women, and also so in one sentence I summarize it that the theme is unhappiness. I think so.
And countering that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Sadaf. And before we all sign off, I just wanted to add my 2 bits to the book itself. So the Bookseller of Kabul, as we all know, is a story of a Norwegian woman who comes to Afghanistan 2 weeks after the attack on after 9/11, and she lives with the family in Afghanistan, and she experiences Afghanistan through those people. And this is during the Taliban regime over there, and she feels suppressed because she comes from another system where there is more freedom, more movement. So she finds a suppression something that is very difficult. But what I really wanted to talk about, which is underlined, if you read the book, if you read the story, and if you read into the character of Sultan, it is an underlying theme which is consistent, is that when a new power comes and wants to take over the people, what it wants to do is it wants to eradicate its past glories, so people do not remember who they were. So these books are so important for Sultan, and for his love for his country is also because he understands that the Afghanistan that he is living in today is not the Afghanistan that he remembers of yesteryears, the Afghanistan of his past of his elders, the stories that he's heard, that he and the books that he's read as he was growing up. And that is something that he wants to give to his children, to other Afghans, so that they don't forget who they are, because they are seeing a depiction of themselves through other people, through the media, through the books, through living in that world post 9/11, that he recognizes is not true Afghanistan. It is just a part, a figment of the larger perspective. So I feel like this book, even though it's written from a very outsider's perspective, it does like a lot of things in the book that the woman doesn't understand, because she doesn't live in it. She doesn't have that cultural sensitivity to it. So for example, when she talks about polygamy, or when she talks about the rights of women, but what she has done is she has tried to project an image of Afghanistan as it was post 9/11. And books like these are so important to read, so that we can understand what we do not want. And that is what the underlying theme of the book is, that if you want to rule over a people, just take away their past history, their glory, their achievements, and they will become nothing. And through that nothing, you can build on what you want them to be. That could be anything.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alia. Thank you, everyone. With that, we bring the session to a close. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Khuda Hafiz.
Bye.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much.